Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jonah Misiak. Today, I'd like to share a technique that has helped me when I'm struggling or when I'm just met with a challenge that just seems impossible, or even when I'm feeling stuck. Like my reality is not meeting up with my dreams and I'm not getting to my goal. I'm like, what's going on? So I'd like to share a little story with you. When I was away at the yoga teacher training for the month of February, I struggled a lot. I'll be honest, it was a lot of struggle. My brain fog lifted pretty much just before I went, or it was pretty much gone, but I still had a lot of joint pain and things like that. So getting on the yoga mat was a little challenging at times. And over the course of time, it got better and better. However, about week, I think 3, probably, when we were doing a lot of in-class practice about, teaching classes and stuff like that and going over it. And then definitely by week 4, when we had to do our practical, my mind and body were not together at all. It was a hot mess. And I remember starting on Monday, because we get there Monday in the afternoon, and we were supposed to do a practice teach with 2 other people. And I was like, what? What are we teaching right now? Because over the weekend, I fit in some practice time with my husband, but I practice a different routine. I like to mention that the yoga I was focusing on when I did my yoga teacher training is actually Ashtanga yoga. So if you're not familiar with it, it's such a beautiful, it's just so good. Anyways, I can talk more about this later. It defeats the purpose, but I just want to know, Ashtanga yoga is a series of postures, and it's connected to an ujjayi breathing. So it's really about cleansing and heating your inner body while doing a sequence. So it's not like I had to make up a sequence for this class. I had to memorize a sequence. Now, fun fact, throughout the course, every morning we'd wake up and we'd start on our yoga mats at 6:30 in the morning. And we would do a lot of that, is the sequences, right? But I would always just not check out, but I was always just going. I wasn't paying attention to what was coming next. So the cool thing is my body knew what was going on. But when I was met with this teaching aspect of it, I'm like, what is this? They said the name of the sequence. And I was like, what? What is going, I don't even know this. What are we supposed to do? I had no idea what postures were in line. They're like, your body knows. I'm like, heck yeah, my body knows, but my mouth and my brain don't right now. And there was tears, and I was really frustrated because my brain just was not functioning properly. Between the not getting enough sleep, the stress of learning new things, being way out of my comfort zone, hanging out with people. I spend most of my time alone. For reals. I wake up, I say good morning to my kiddos, my husband, and then I'm pretty much on my own for the day, for the most part. Now I'll meet up with a friend and go for a walk. I'll do this and that. But most of my day is spent in my office, just really creating and things like that. So, or reading or learning. And so I don't usually get to experience having such a loving community around me. There was, I believe, 12 of us. So it was just really something else. So I was way out of my comfort zone. So I was met with a really challenging thing. So thankfully, we were allowed to look at our books and stuff like that. And it wasn't our practical exam. Thank goodness. It was just a practice to get us there. So here I am, kind of teary-eyed, a lot teary-eyed and frustrated, super frustrated, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I fumbled my whole way through it, like a hot mess. And then that night I was like, hey, enough is enough. I'm so over it. I was having a hard time learning all the book stuff mixed with, it was just really challenging for me. Because of everything, and my candida symptoms were they were just really getting pretty bad near the end there. Anyways, so that night I was so sick of feeling lost, feeling uncertain of myself. I was so sick of it. I was like, I'm done. I need to do something about this. So I sit, our class goes to about 9:30 at night. So afterwards I get ready for bed and go to my cabin. And I looked at my book. I'm like, okay, what is this sequence? Like, let me sit down and go through it. And so I looked at all the pictures we had in our book, and I got to remember what the sequences were. Because talking my way through the sequences wasn't my problem. The transitions weren't my problem. It was remembering what came after the other. I could do it if I was actively doing the sequence. So like if I was doing the asanas as well, I could probably figure it out because my body did know. But my brain, oh my goodness, it was on a different plane, doing a whole different thing. Anyway, so I was looking at the pictures and then I let that go. I'm like, okay, I've seen it. I have an idea. I'll only know what I can know right now in this moment. I had to kind of let go of knowing enough and just being okay with like, okay, I've seen it now in my book. I've played it in my mind a little bit, and then I did something completely different. I visualized me teaching a class, not there in the dome at the yoga teacher training, but where I saw myself teaching here on the coast. What did it look like? And I embraced and just really got into the feeling of sharing yoga with others. And it wasn't so much about learning the content, what sequences it was why I want to teach Ashtanga yoga in the first place. Like, why am I here at this yoga teacher training? So I got into that feeling of what would happen after I became a teacher. So I really got clear on what it would look like teaching a class. So the technique I want to share with you today is what I've already said, visualization. And if you have a challenging time seeing things, it's not so much about what you see, it's about how you feel. So I wouldn't see all the details of me teaching, but I stepped in that time like, where am I teaching? Who am I teaching? Or what am I like? And I love music. So I have this idea, because Ashtanga yoga, it's always, with Ashtanga yoga, it's always the same sequences. So I love this idea of mashing music and having like different themes. So I really leaned on how I was personally going to bring my personality out to my classes while teaching Ashtanga yoga. So it was really, really cool about like putting it all together. Like, what would I do when I bring all this knowledge that I have with the asanas and the sequences that I've learned? So it really helped me get out of my head and into my heart. And that is really important because I was in my head a lot. Now, a part of it was, yes, I was in my head thinking, okay, I got to do this. But a part of it wasn't even there. That information was not there. So first I had to give myself that knowledge. Like, I had to look at the book and I didn't study it very long. I just looked at it, played it out a couple times in my mind, saying the postures, and it was like, okay, it's this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. And having that idea, like I just needed to put it in my brain. And then I needed to let that knowledge go and go into my heart and remember how I want to feel. Because I was feeling downright exhausted, frustrated, angry, and beating myself up for not getting it. I had a lot of struggles in yoga teacher training, and I'll share, I'm sure, a lot of them with you over the time. I just wasn't at my best place for learning. However, at the same time, it was really good to do because I got out of my comfort zone. And as frustrating as it could be, having brain fog and fatigue, and there were days where I literally felt like my whole body was spent because all my joints were sore. Now, yoga did help, like practicing the asanas and learning more about yoga itself. And there's going to be an episode all about, what I learned about yoga because it's not what I thought it was. Anyways, we'll talk about that later, but visualization. So this has helped me, one, here with yoga teacher training. And the funny thing is, I just did it. I didn't really think too much about it, but it's a tool I've used a lot in my life. And it's something you can do anywhere. So I just visualized and I got into my heart and got out of my head. And then that night, I'm pretty sure the whole time I just dreamt that sequence over and over and over and over again. And then the next day, we got to do it all over again. And instead of being in front of 2 people, it was in front of the whole class. And thankfully, I put myself in a position where I just showed up in how I wanted to feel in that class on the coast. Not learning it, but already living it. And I did an amazing job. Was it perfect? Heck no. I'm still learning. Even to this day, after graduating, I'm still going to be learning. That's what we do all throughout our life. And as I keep going with my own practice, I can continuously show up even better for my own students. So the thing is, I just owned it. I wasn't in my head and I just leaned in my heart. I also knew the information, right? It was there. And I showed up and people are like, what happened? At the time, I was like, well, I just looked at the book, had an idea, and then I dreamt about it all night. And I actually looked back later going, oh, right. I also used visualization. And that is so important. So if you're feeling stuck or you're struggling in an area of your life, just sit in a nice, cozy, comfortable position and close your eyes. Take a couple deep breaths and then lean into what it is you want to see in your life and how you want to feel. So it's really placing yourself in the feeling when that thing, that goal you want to have happen in your life happens. How is that going to make you feel? Doing that particular activity, how is that going to make you feel? And you can use this in all areas of your life. Maybe you're going for a job interview and you sit down and just visualize yourself. You can visualize the interview itself, or how will you feel and what will your life feel like and look like when you're in that job position. Same with parenting. You can, if your life is chaotic in parenting, sit down, visualize what does the ideal day look like being a parent. How's that work-life balance? How are you when the tides get really high and crazy and the storms come up, Also known as our kids, I have kids that feel very deeply, high and low. So it's really about grounding myself. So when they come in with their high emotions, either if it's high or low, I can be there to really celebrate them with the high times and really support them through the tough, heavy times. But it's what does that look like to you when life is, moving around you? Who are you when life, is happening around you, throwing you curveballs or different things? You can use this just in so many areas of your life. And what I've done and still do today is I will visualize my day the night before. So I'll lay in bed, and as I'm drifting off to sleep, I will visualize what my day looks like the next day. How do I feel? Who am I? What's going on? How am I going to show up? And things like that. You can listen to visualizations, like a guided one. Or like I said, you can just close your eyes and just visualize how you feel and how you're going to be and things like that. So you can do this anywhere. And like I said, if you feel more with doing guided, I have done that definitely in the past where I have guided, but because I've done it so often, I just have picked it up where I don't even sometimes realize I'm using it. Like I said with the yoga teacher training, where I actually did it without realizing the importance of it at that time. So yeah. And if you do want a guided one, I actually have one on my website that you can download for free. So if you like that, you can go to jodymisiak.com and go under meditations, and it'll be the visualizing one, visualizing your ideal life, I believe is what it's called. Anyways, there are so I say I usually go to bed and visualize my night. It really depends on how I feel. Sometimes I lean into gratitude and I just I lay down and I think about all the things I'm grateful for. Some days I lean into visualization and I just visualize my next day, how I want to feel, how I want to show up, how I look, and my energy and all that stuff. And then there's other nights where I just, pray to the universe and just, ask for guidance and direction. And then there's some nights that I'm just so tired where I just lay my head on my pillow and drift off to sleep. So not every night is going to look the same. Sometimes, you need rest, while other times maybe you need a little visualization, or maybe you just need an uplifting moment and lean into gratitude, where I literally just say, I'm so thankful for, and then I just keep thinking about things I'm grateful for. So anyways, I hope this has helped, and I really encourage you to just try it out. If you're struggling somewhere or just feeling lost, maybe you don't know what you want. It's really good to just sit and close your eyes and reflect. And even if you just start with focusing on your breath and see where that goes. And you can ask yourself, what is my ideal life? Or what does my ideal day look like? Or how do I want to feel? It's just asking yourself those questions as you focus on your breathing and just then allow the world to be around you and listen from within and see what comes up. I hope this helps. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful for you and for you showing up for you and taking the time to listen here. Thank you again for being here. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye for now.